Hi Libra, welcome to your end of September 2019 General Tarot Update. It's Rena here and just shuffling the cards. Back to my Morgan Greer deck. Happy birthday to those of you who are born in September. And also, at the end of September, there's going to be a new moon in your sign. So this is going to be your the time not only of the solar return, but then the new moon is happening at an early degree of Libra. So the people who are born in the month of September, the Libra peeps, will be feeling this most, okay? Because it's going to be 5 degrees of Libra. So it's happening, you know, on the 28th, about 5 days after the equinox. So, without further ado, here we go. The heart of the matter is the 5 of Cups. This can be a card of, you know, some kind of disappointment that you're feeling. And I wanna just bring in these other cards to talk about this a little bit. In the past position, we have the 6 of Pentacles. So this is about fairness in some sort of money situation that involves, you know, getting paid what you're worth. Also, this could be like inheritance. I mean, that's an inheritance card, and because the 5 of Cups is a card of like kind of grieving the loss of something, this could be like, it's not necessarily that you're not receiving money, but you are, you know, you're still upset about the loss. So this would be something that has already occurred for those of you Libra individuals who are experiencing the, you know, some kind of an estate situation, probate issue or what have you. And you may just be kind of like having to deal with both mourning the loss of somebody, but also dealing with the monetary side of things. And, you know, just to let you know, because I was kind of figuring it out in my mind, I believe that Taurus is your 8th house. So Uranus is in that 8th house, and this could mean, Libra, that you get an inheritance in a very sort of unexpected, surprising way. Like maybe from some long-lost, you know, great aunt or something, you know, somebody that you never expected to receive an inheritance from. Because Uranus is full of surprises. The 8th house is shared resources or other people's money. So that could be something that just kind of takes you by surprise. And we have this 5 of Cups flanked by 2 Pentacles. So to me, that's dealing with things from a practical standpoint, that perhaps you feel like disappointed that something didn't go your way. But the higher message, actually, even though this is Pentacles, it's not meant to be read literally. This is a card of training, or also this is a good money card, actually, of, you know, making a lot of money, as well as training and doing a really good job, or getting some kind of certification. So it could be saying that if you were looking for a raise, that what you have to do is get into the spirit of trying to make yourself as, I don't want to say employable, but, you know, I can't think of an equivalent word that means like more employable or more versatile, something that you can have extra skills that will ensure that you have a certain like edge over other people. Now, it stands to reason that this would only be very good advice if you really love what you do. If you are disappointed in the outcome of something, but when you're honest with yourself, you really don't like what you're doing, then that's a totally different story. And actually, in this particular case, this Five of Cups could end up working in your benefit, where you perceive something as a disappointment, but actually it's a hidden blessing. And also with the Eight of Pentacles, I think on the spiritual level, it's asking you not to have that idea of like, okay, I didn't get what I want, so I'm just going to mail it in. I'm just going to be totally disconnected from what I'm doing. When you offer service to others from a humble point of view, that is your dharma. That is your service to humanity. And you're not doing it for some kind of tit-for-tat agenda. Now, yes, of course, you're getting paid. It's not volunteer work if you're actually, that's what you're doing for a living. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that if you perceive it in a spiritual way, I think you can't go wrong. Even if you are disappointed about something, about not getting a raise, something that has to do with, a mundane circumstance, you can still, it's like being an alchemist. You can actually take what you do and make it into something magical, something that transcends just working for a paycheck. And when people really love what they do, there's not this sense of watching the clock or anything like that. Relatively speaking, we're all human, but there's that sense of, being at one with your task. And that's what I see with the Eight of Pentacles. And the person, it's not about like a compulsive OCD type of like, oh, I got to get everything right. It's like, I want to be the best version of myself in this job because I want to offer people the best of what I have to offer. And I'm not going to just give people what I want to give them based on what I get in return. Sometimes when you're dealing with customer service, you can feel it when somebody, even if they're, I had this thing today when I was at the cafe, and it's like, people, that might not be their dream job, but when they put their heart into it, regardless, I appreciate it, and I'm sure a lot of you do too, where, you really feel the love. I know that sounds corny, but you feel like that great customer service. It's not phony, but it's really true. So it applies to anything that we do, that personal touch, you know what I mean? And that to me is really what's striving for excellence when it comes to our work, not just, the work itself, and if it's, if there are any flaws, but our energy that we pour into it. What crosses you is the Moon card. So this is kind of like that, this is the stumbling block or the obstacle that is perhaps informing the Five of Cups, making that more likely to be, something that is, I don't know why I can't articulate myself right now. What I mean is that sometimes the card that crosses you, to me, is why, if the heart of the matter is kind of like a challenging card, like the Five of Cups, certainly is, that it's creating a false belief. Okay, so that Five of Cups might not be true reality, but you're perceiving things from the glass half empty perspective. That's another thing to me about the Five of Cups, is kind of pessimistic thinking. And so the Moon card in the challenge position, okay, here's a truth bomb for you. Addiction. The Moon card actually connects with addiction. So, and it doesn't have to be your addiction, Libra. This could be somebody else's that is in your life, especially if it's somebody very close to you. And it could be like coloring your perception in a very negative way. Their problems. And so even though, I mean, because like I said before, those two cards that flank the Five of Cups, they're not bad cards at all. So perhaps, addiction issues are creating a distortion in thinking, and that means that a person cannot really see their blessings. Also, the Moon card in the challenge position could be delusion. So again, delusion is operating under a false sense of reality and coming, towards yourself, towards your life. So somebody who's deluded, it almost to me is like they're volunteering to do this. It's not necessarily that it is just happening. The Moon card in the challenge position can be mental health issues. So mental imbalance, emotional imbalance. This card is connected to Pisces. Although, so if there's a Pisces person in your life who's kind of turning your life upside down, that could be problematic for you. Maybe they're the one with the addiction. And I would also include Cancer with this. And you definitely have, Librans tend to have that connection to Cancer, being both cardinal signs. So this person may not be adding value to your life. They may actually be creating problems for you. Whoever this person is, it could be a parent, it could be a sibling, whoever, a lover, But the other thing too, to me, and looking at that Five of Cups and the cups that are behind this individual, you could be turning your back on artistic talent. You could be, that Five of Cups is flanked by Pentacles. You could be kind of selling your soul for money. And turning your back on your first love. Remember that Libra is ruled by Venus, and Venus is the goddess of love and beauty, and one of the key connections to Venus is art. And being a creator could be something that you've always been, you always consider yourself no matter what, but you have gotten a little bit materialistic for whatever reason, and that has clouded your judgment. It's coming in, Seven of Wands, or this could be the advice. This could be to push back. Definitely something that Librans need to do more often. You are the sign of the acquiescer, the person who wants to keep the peace, and that has its place for sure. But then again, let me put it this way, if there is a probate issue, you may have to say, hey, I'm not backing down from this. You're trying to gaslight me. I could see with the Moon in the challenge position, Libra, that you may find that somebody is really lying to you, because this could be a card of deception. So going back to that Taurus full moon, I'm sorry, I said Taurus being your 8th house. There's going to be a full moon in November, November 12th to be exact. So who knows? Maybe that will be the time when Taurus people, Libra people have, it's not necessarily an epiphany, but some secret is revealed. And the 8th house is the house of secrets. So that's like a double whammy, because full moons can bring out secrets. And this, the moon card depicts a full moon. So just keep that in mind. That's going to be like coming up in a couple of months, but that might be kind of the culmination of some kind of an issue if it involves shared resources. And this card is saying you have to be willing to defend yourself. If you're having problems with siblings, Libra, you can't let anybody kind of like steamroll you and try to, even, like I said, gaslight you, accuse you of something that you didn't do because they want all the money or whatever. You have to be willing to defend your honor. And the outcome is the 8 of Cups. And again, I think that this might be a Scorpio type of card. Definitely water energy a lot here. And water energy, of course, is emotional. But I also, when it comes to money, I think of water energy as security-minded. And so, in other words, the emotions, the person feels more peaceful when they know they have money in the bank. But this is a card of leaving what doesn't serve you. And so you may, if this is literally something to do with an inheritance, you may decide it's not worth it, because I almost get this feeling of you being on more of a spiritual quest, Libra. And oh yeah, and the thing that's interesting too is that your second house is Scorpio, so that could also be some kind of a timing card, because you're going to have a new moon in your second house at the end of October. So about a month from the time of this reading, you're going to have a full moon, a new moon in your earned income sector. So that could suggest a new job, that could suggest a new income stream. And if you have been disappointed by something currently that is related to a job, and oh yeah, I will say too, with the 8 of Pentacles, perhaps you were trying to be perfect and it didn't work, okay? And it really is kind of like a lesson in being authentic and doing only that which you love, not doing something just for the money or for or trying to be everything to everybody in the workplace, because that might have been what you thought was going to help and it didn't work, and you feel like cheated or disappointed, when in fact it's not that big of a deal, because you're going to get something better. Because I feel like this sense of, with this 8 of Cups, a real yearning for meaning in your life. And maybe you've had the money, but you're really looking for the meaning. And to me, especially if it relates to creative endeavors, which, by the way, the cups are connected to as well. And yeah, so that's very interesting, because I'm thinking, yeah, your North Node is in the 10th house of career in Cancer. So this is really a time, and this is going into 2020 actually, Libra, where things may come to you. You may get some kind of opportunity. And it seems like it could just seem like it came out of nowhere, but it was really divine timing. It was really meant to be. So again, you know, with the Five of Cups, if you feel like disappointed about something that you had your hopes up, don't be. Because, I mean, I know that feeling. And sometimes, depending on how long somebody allows themselves to be disappointed and not to move on, it can feel like it's never going to get better. But not only does it get better, you can go so much further than you thought. And it doesn't, I'm not talking about like if you're in your 20s or even in your 30s. This can happen later in life when, you know, things that you never expected. And it's like your life didn't exist up until that point because you become aligned with what you were meant to do. And it's like coming home again. So I think that Eight of Cups is really about that sense of the spiritual journey to find meaning in life. And that, you know, for all of us, it's going to be different. It's not about following somebody else's template or their, you know, their path, but finding our own path. And it can be like a lot of fun to find yourself, you know, it really can. Okay, well, that's what I have for you, Libra. I hope that you enjoyed this. If you would like a private reading, the link to my website is below. Take care. Bye.